right, give me just 1 second here. Make certain everybody's working properly before we get too far going. Welcome to everybody who is checking in for tonight. It is a beautiful night out there. April the 1st has turned out to be a beautiful one, and no major problems being seen for right now. But as we get into the next couple of days, there is going to be the possibility of seeing some more rough weather heading on through, including and especially for tomorrow. That's Wednesday. Not really too much for us, but just enough to where we are going to have to kind of keep an eye on the situation. So yes, once again, it is going to be time to be weather aware for the entire News 12 viewing area, just to be on the safe side. And not just for tomorrow, but several more potential areas of rain, thunder, and could be, again, some severe weather in that mixture. We'll talk more about that coming up here in just a little bit. For right now, again, so far things are doing very nicely. We're not seeing any major problems at all. Okay, audio sounds good there. Let's make certain that audio is doing what it's supposed to do over here. This is what happens when you are the host, the camera person, the audio person for everything going on. So we try to make certain that everything is working properly on here. But unfortunately, I'm the only one to handle everything on this webcast, so I've got to make certain that everything's happening correctly and working properly on here because I'm the only one who's available. So let's see that audio is doing pretty good for this time around. And yes, it is. Okay, good. We are good to go, so let's go ahead and get going. If you've never been here before, this is your opportunity to ask questions about the weather. We are live on Twitch and YouTube on our station YouTube page for News 12, coming to you live and direct from downtown Chattanooga, Tennessee. We cover the areas of southeast Tennessee, North Georgia, northeast Alabama, and extreme western North Carolina. So if you'd like to ask any questions about weather there, please go right ahead. We've got the chat function working on YouTube and on Twitch. So again, if you'd like to check in and see what is going on out there, please do so. Excuse the switch back here to a couple of different slides. We're going to be covering a lot tonight, so let's go ahead and get going and show you what's going on for right now. Again, Weather Overtime coming to you live on Tuesday evening, downtown Chattanooga on the Bailey's Heating and Air camera, and all of our cameras available on the EPB Fiber Optics WeatherCam network, of which you can get to if you go to wdef.com/weather, the website that you see at the bottom section of the screen there, as we give you an idea as to what is happening. We'll go and take a look and see what else is going on across portions of the area. This is, again, a great camera network to have out there to see what's going on. Sunset was spectacular. Now, again, a little bit more on the hazy side. You can see Lookout Mountain out there in the distance, but otherwise not seeing too much of a problem with visibility for tonight. Taking a look at the area into and around the News 12 studios and the crescent moon just coming into view. Lookout Mountain, kind of hard to see with the haze in the air and some of the clouds out across portions of the area, but again, it is on the dry side. And let's check out traffic for just a minute. Some of that haze is pollen, and I'm fighting off a great big sneeze at this point, so apologies if that goes on. 2475 Interstate Junction from the Tomahawk Crane and Rigging camera, not showing anything in the way of backups here. Right about the area, again, that gets backed up at around rush hour, but that's not showing up for the time being. Currently, again, it's beautiful. We've got temperatures back in the low 60s around the Chattanooga Airport, which is just over the horizon here. So not bad on the winds, not bad on the temperatures. Decently dry, not quite as dry as it was last week, so we're not seeing anything in the way of major amounts of wildfire danger out there. Tree pollen was very high yesterday and now has shrunk a little bit, but we also have mold, which is a little bit higher today than what it was yesterday. Air quality index from earlier was at a green or good level of 32. So again, not too bad on the air quality across much of the region Thanks to Chattanooga Allergy Clinic for giving us the detailed information on that, and you can find out more on their website. Right about 10 o'clock, a few minutes beforehand, that's 10 o'clock Eastern Time. Not too bad, again, on the temperatures, back in the 50s and 60s. So far, again, it's quite nice. Today was April Fool's Day, but the weather was not fooling around. It's been some beautiful numbers out there, and temperatures very close to normal. The very cold air has been shunted back to the north, so it is way up by the Great Lakes into parts of the northern Appalachians and toward about New England. So there's really not much for us except a warm front, which is going to be heading our way into the next couple of days. So we do see some big changes taking place. Again, for tonight, high pressure is well in control, but that warm front is almost here, so we will be looking for the potential of a lot more in the way of the temperatures heading upwards. There's a very good possibility that we could see some record high temperatures in the next couple of days. It really doesn't look like much for the immediate future, but could be pushing 90 degrees by the time we hit toward the end of the week. This is our next storm system. This one, again, is making its way through the midsection of the country. We've got warm, moist air coming in from off the Gulf of Mexico. That, again, is where this system is going to be running into. This moves across the Rockies into the Plain States, and that's where it gets a lot of room to maneuver, and that is where we're going to see a lot more in the way of some changes taking place when it comes to weather in the next few days. Now, what's going to happen with this system? It is going to be making its way into the area, so we will see this system again head our direction. But into the next couple of days, through about tomorrow morning into tomorrow afternoon, the computer model is starting to pump up a little bit more in the chances of rainfall. I don't see anything like that happening. Maybe a stray shower or a thunderstorm taking place, but realistically, our chances for rain and thunder Wednesday into Thursday are pitifully low. Much of the activity is going to be along that stationary front, cold front / whatever front you want to call it. But what's going to basically happen is that front is going to get stretched out and it's going to stall back to the west of us. Now, that for us, we're going to be way down here in the possibility of seeing the potential of some of these areas of rain affecting us from time to time. But the main potential of anything involving the severe weather looks to be mainly back to our west. So good news again on that for the time being. Thursday evening, again, could be some thunderstorms west of us, and then back over around the mid-south area. Most of that, it looks like it's going to hug the area north where that front is going to go, but that front is going to just kind of wobble back and forth across where it gets stuck. So it is not going to be giving us too much in the way of big amounts of changes. Friday, it pushes back to the north, so even less chance of rain as we go into and around Friday. And then the main energy of that system gets a little bit closer to us around Saturday morning. Rockets up toward the Great Lakes. And then by Saturday afternoon into Sunday, that front is expected with another little burst of energy coming in from the west. That is where we may see the next potential of our latest storm system arriving. And that is where we could see some problems from Saturday night into around very early Sunday morning. Notice also, if you will, right back up here into and around the Missouri River Valley, parts of the Ozarks, we've got a very big dip in temperatures, and that's going to affect our weather here in the News 12 viewing area in Chattanooga and southeast Tennessee, northeast Alabama, North Georgia, and western North Carolina. That is where we could be looking at the potential for a bit of a cool down coming through. So if you've got plants out on the patio like I do, you may have to bring them back in again because of the fact that we're going to be seeing more in the way of problems with colder temperatures coming through. Now, severe weather potential, it is way off to our west for tonight. Again, News 12 viewing area sitting right in the middle of your screen. Severe weather threat tonight, Kansas City, Wichita, Tulsa, and back toward around Oklahoma City. And that is going to be the main threat that we're going to be looking at coming our direction kind of, sorta. It's not really going to be making a huge impact on what we see here. But then we get into tomorrow, and this is, again, decently rare, but it is something that really needs to be paid attention to. There's a couple things to watch on this particular system. Number one, a moderate, and again, this is a category 4 out of 5 severe weather threats. So we're looking again at some very potent weather right along that front, east of Little Rock through the Mid-South, upwards of Paducah, and south of Indianapolis. Again, this is going to be the main bullseye for some very powerful storms. And as that front just sits there, it's not going to go too far, and it's going to drop some heavy amounts of rain. Now, we'll talk about that coming up in just a little bit. Now, take a look again at what we are seeing here. Notice again from what we've been seeing here, the main severe weather threat is going to be back around the Mid-South area, and then some of that makes its way into Middle Tennessee, rapidly drops off as we go into and around the area of where we are. Now, it's not as much as what we're seeing again back into the moderate 4 out of 5 category area, but more importantly, it is a threat of severe weather. So again, marginal though it may be, some of the storms that are out here might make their way into the area. So we may see some problems with that as we go into Wednesday night and Thursday morning. Add to that, we will see the potential of that marginal threat of severe weather continue. It lessens a lot. We still have a slight risk category well back up to our north and west. So again, the Arklatex area all the way back over to around Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, the Virginias, way up around the Blue Ridge, and northern parts of the Appalachians. That's where we're going to be seeing the threat. That's for Thursday, and yes, that still includes parts of the News 12 viewing area. Now, for Friday, that threat backs off a little bit. Again, days 1 through 3, tonight, Wednesday, Thursday, we can give you a good idea as to what's going on with the varying levels of severe threat indicators from the Storm Prediction Center. Days 4 through 8, that is where we see a generic threat issued. This is the best that we can do in the extended forecast. They don't issue this slight, medium, moderate, high-level type forecasts. They just give you sort of a generic threat. And this is what we're seeing backing off from the area. Again, that'll be on Friday as the front wobbles its way back to the north. But we're not done with this, because on Saturday, the threat returns to the area, and we see portions of the area here start to give us the potential of severe weather yet again. So we've got several days worth of possible heavy rainfall, possible severe weather, not huge amounts, but still, again, it's a potential situation that we really need to be paying attention to. Lexington, Bowling Green, Nashville, the Mid-South, Birmingham down to Jackson, Mississippi, the Red River Valley. That is what we may see early Saturday, starting off to the west in the morning and then moving our direction as we go toward Saturday night. Yes, another threat of severe weather on the weekend. We can't seem to get over this almost every weekend or so, the potential of severe weather. So we are looking again at that potential heading back our direction. Now, again, it's going to be coming and going. We won't see as much as we have possibly, but this forecast, remember last week we saw one of these generic forecasts, and then as we headed toward the weekend, we got up into that high risk category that was over parts of the deep south in the United States. So that is where we are going to see potential problems. We'll keep our eyes on that. So should you. Again, time to be weather aware on things of this nature. Now, we're also looking at the potential of flash flooding. It's going to be next door to us. We're telling you this mainly because anybody who's traveling going into the next several days in that general area, now this, what you saw earlier was severe weather. This is a flash flooding risk potential. And notice that again, we're looking at a category 4 out of 4 high potential of flash flooding back to our west, which means if you're going to be heading anywhere through this location or towards it, you're really going to have to pay attention to both the wet roadways and the potential of maybe some flash flooding going on as you go on through. What are we talking about here? This, again, for us, we're not looking at huge amounts. We need the rainfall, but we will see about 1.25 inches to maybe, say, 1.5 inches. And there could be some localized amounts of 2 inches plus. Northwest Georgia and southeast Tennessee, western North Carolina could see some of that. Some more down toward Birmingham and Montgomery. But this is what makes that flash flooding guidance indicator so somewhat terrifying at this point. Looking back toward the west, this area here, again from Little Rock all the way back up to Louisville, Wabash River Valley, the confluence of the Ohio and the Mississippi. Some of this area, note the key over here going up into the beige territory, we could be looking at 10 to 12 inches of rainfall in the next 5 days. And that's great for when it comes to wildfires, but unfortunately this could mean the potential of lots of flash flooding, wet roadways, slow travel, a lot of hydroplaning if you go too fast. So again, Little Rock to Louisville and Lexington, Paducah back into around, say, Cape Girardeau, Poplar Bluff, Missouri, south of St. Louis down to about I-40. That is where we may be looking at the potential of some exceptionally heavy rainfall. Hopefully not all at once, but it is looking rather ugly when it comes to good travel conditions out there. Could be a lot of rivers out of their banks. Could be, again, a lot of slow travel. I would highly recommend patience, and if you can, delay travel anywhere, and especially around this area that could be picking up close to 1 foot of rainfall in a week's time. That's a lot of rain to fall on very wet ground that runs off, that builds up in the culverts and the streams and the ditches and the rivers, and that is where we see the potential of the flash flooding going on. So for right now, again, that is where we are mainly concerned with for the possibility. Now, the flash flooding potential here, it's lower, but if it gets soggy enough, that is something that we really do need to pay attention to. Then, as we go into the next several days afterwards, it is possible that we could be looking at a decent cool down heading our way into the first few days of April, according to the Climate Prediction Center's forecast. So again, if you have any plans for your plants that may be outdoors, you may want to think about bringing them in. We'll show you the 7-day forecast coming up here in just a little bit. Precipitation into the next several days, not a lot for us, especially into the early part of the month. But we could be, again, seeing that potential of drier start to April after we get done with this initial round of rainfall coming on through. So that, again, is going to be the main threat that we look at for now. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at our 7-day forecast with the Island Cove Marina and Resort camera in the background. And Sylvester the Spider is back, taking up some of the camera, looking back toward Tennessee 58 and Hunter Road intersection and the waters of Lake Chickamauga on the Tennessee River, looking back from the marina toward the north and east. So a beautiful, fairly dry but plenty of pollen type evening out there. What we're seeing into the near future for tomorrow, temperatures will be fairly mild, but they will be a little bit warmer, but not by much than what we saw today, back to about the high 70s to lower 80s. Again, as we go into and around the area of Wednesday and Thursday, that is where we are looking at the potential of a marginal threat of severe weather. And that's something we're really going to have to keep our eyes on. The front bounces back to the north on Friday, and then as we hit Saturday and Sunday, that is where we see the potential of severe weather taking place again, late Saturday, early Sunday. That appears, again, some showers on Saturday night. Doesn't look like a main threat there, but then thunderstorms possible on Sunday, and then clearing things out. And here's the really good news. The lookouts are back in town. Baseball season begins in Chattanooga next week tonight at 7:15 as the Lookouts take on the Birmingham Barons. Looking forward to that. It is going to be cool-ish by the start of the game. We're going to go from near 90 on Saturday to the low 60s on next Tuesday, even some 50s for highs coming up on Monday, so quite the dip in temperatures. That, again, is going to signal the start of a fairly dry and fairly cool period for most of the area as we get into and around early April. So that in and of itself definitely want to pay attention to what we're looking at there, and we'll keep you updated on that into the course of the next several days. All right, let's do some extracurricular activity here for tonight. Thanks to News 12 viewer. Excuse me a second. My nose with all this pollen. I don't know what's blooming out there. Usually I'm a ragweed type of guy, and whatever's out there right now has been just kicking my nose all over the place. Thanks to News 12 viewer Bill Acock from Whitwell. Beautiful view of a streak of lightning captured, silhouetting a tree and some of the other trees and houses out in the backyard area there. Thank you very much for our Langley Roofing weather window picture of the day. You can see these pictures, and if you'd like to take a look at them, all you have to do is go to wdef.com/photos. You can drop your pictures there. You can go to social media and drop them to Facebook, Twitter, X, or Instagram in the comments section with a location and a description if you would be so kind, or you can just email them to us at pictures@wdef.com if you'd like to be able to put that up there and be able to show you a little bit more about what's going on there. I'd like to keep this poll up and going for the foreseeable future, at least until the end of the week. Usually we do a little bit more in the way of, say, trivia about weather and music, nicknames for clouds, stuff like that. But we want to do a little bit more serious asking of questions to get you thinking about what's going on when it comes to weather and preparedness and emergencies and things like that. A lot of people don't like to think about that, and they don't like people like me reminding them that emergencies can happen. But it's important to remember to be ready for them regardless of how you feel, because danger and emergencies will come. The question is, how prepared are you for that to happen? Now, we've had this poll up since the weekend. We want to keep this up for the rest of the next several days. And the question is, do you have a working weather radio at home, work, or school? And when I say ready and working, I mean it's plugged in. It's got a battery backup, a 9-volt battery in there, and a couple extras ready to go, and you've programmed it. Again, the radios these days are basically a computer attached to a radio to where you can program in the counties that you want to have on there. That is, again, working definition of ready and working on there. Now, earlier tonight, only about 53% of you voting said you do have a radio at home, at work, or at school. Excuse me again. And as of right now, it's running about 3/4 ahead to about 25% no. So good news on that. And again, that's going to fluctuate over the next few days as we keep this poll going. So please use the QR code to get there. We'll also have it available at our website, wdef.com/vote now, if you would like to, again, learn a little bit more about our polls and what exactly you can do to participate in them. It's a great opportunity for you to take a look and see a little bit more about what's going on. We also have polls for sports and news and on our Let's Chat segment at 10 o'clock in the morning. So more polls where you can give your opinion on what's going on out there. Thanks to Beltone for being our weather sponsor. We really do appreciate it on there. Almanac page 67, the high, just below where we should be at about 69, well below our record high temperature, 86, set back in 1940, and a record low that hasn't been broken since 1881. And we are 20 degrees above that for today. We are behind for the month and the year again on rainfall. We did not pick up any rain today. April Fool's Day, again, was not fooling around. It was an absolutely beautiful day. Tomorrow, for outdoor activities, it's going to be less sunny and more windy. Maybe a wind advisory coming our way. We'll see what the National Weather Service says. But temperatures will be pushing 80 degrees as we get into tomorrow, and that means going out for a round of golf. It's a good possibility. There's going to be a lot of slices and hooks out there. No rain expected, but there is going to be a decent amount of cloud cover. So again, heading out to the back nine, that extra water bottle would not be a bad idea. Not really seeing that much of a problem again into around the rest of the day for the kids heading off to the classroom. Brisk in the morning, temperatures in the high 50s. It will be breezy throughout the entire day, so we will be seeing the potential of some very windy conditions out there, thanks to Foundations Preschool and Academy right across the street, basically from News 12 on Broad Street. That's our sponsor for our school day forecast, and you can find out more on all the closings and delays at wdef.com/weather if you'd like to take a look and see what's going on out there, if there are any delays or closings. We did have some on Monday, thanks to that storm system that was plowing on through the area, a couple of 2-hour delays for Hamilton County Schools, if I'm not mistaken. Looking good for the next couple of days. As we see again, the Lookouts will be returning to AT&T Field. Baseball fan here, so really looking forward again to seeing opening day 1 week from tonight. And the good news at this time is it looks like everything is nice and ready to go from the Chat Lookout social media. Beautiful view from earlier tonight, looking northwest out of AT&T Field with practice going on, and a quote, a beautiful sight. Definitely no question about that. And we should be again looking for the good weather coming our direction. What did I do with it? Okay, here we go. For next week, if everything works, we should be seeing mostly clear skies, a few clouds, and temperatures around and right before first pitch back in the lower 60s. Winds will be out of the northwest, so that'll be blowing into the stands, and any pop flies might head back that direction. And temperatures will drop into the 50s, but very dry conditions for next week. Again, looking pretty good, if not a bit on the brisk side, for the Lookouts returning home to take on the visiting Birmingham Barons. Decently quiet out there. Kids run the bases after the show. That's the after the game promotion on Tuesday. And again, a little bit breezy, so if you're heading off to the ball game on opening night, I would definitely make certain that you have a little bit more in the way of protection against some of that breeze out across much of the region, just to be on the safe side. What else haven't we done here? Okay, we promised a little bit more about this earlier, and this is important, again, to if you maybe you just moved here. Maybe you've been in, like, say, Southern California, the desert Southwest, and you've never really gone through anything in the way of severe weather. It can be a very traumatic situation. It really can if you're not ready for this. I grew up in northeast Kansas, and so I had years to prepare for what I was going to be talking about when I bring weather to you. This is something that is very important, that, again, if you have anything in the way of anxiety about weather, and a lot of people do, and it's nothing to be ashamed of. This is something that I talk to kids about when I go to schools every single time that I can mention this. If you get a little nervous when it comes time, when you start hearing talk of severe weather, and you start hearing lightning, crackling, thunder out in the distance, and there's talk of severe weather and tornadoes and very bad situations coming up, that's okay, because that's your brain telling you you need to be prepared for something that might be happening. But for a lot of people, the anxiety, and for a lot of kids especially too, the anxiety can be overwhelming, and it can make a bad situation absolutely just completely and totally terrible. So if you'd like to learn more, and this is one more thing that I like to talk about, because this is one more way that NOAA helps the public understand severe weather, and how a certain project out there wants to get rid of NOAA is one of the most short-sighted, stupid ideas that I've ever heard of. This is something that no other commercial weather enterprise does or can do, and this is really cool that the National Weather Service in Morristown does this for the public. It's a whole page dedicated to dealing with weather anxiety, and it's done by the meteorologists at the National Weather Service in Morristown, who have decades of experience. And this is just absolutely amazing that they put this together, searching the hashtag #WhatNOAA If you're totally in favor of getting rid of NOAA like a certain project, you really need to re-examine your priorities. It is not a waste of money. It is not fraud. It is not anything to do like that. Take a look at what NOAA does, and you'll see that the benefits far outweigh the fake monikers of waste and fraud that are being thrown around, and that cutting off a lot of people who work for NOAA is one of the most dangerous things we can do for public safety. This is one way, just one, that NOAA helps you to be prepared for severe weather and emergency situations. So if you'd like to know more, head to the website weather.gov/MRX. Again, great opportunity to learn more and to help you, your kids, your family, your place of worship, your school, learn more about why we get scared at things like severe weather. It's a very feels like uncontrollable situation. This, again, thanks to NOAA, can give you some control over that helplessness, that uncontrollable feeling situation. And it's a great opportunity to spark a discussion with your kids who may need to know more about why things happen the way they do. This is a great page. I'm all in favor for it. I'm going to talk about it until the cows come home. But again, please think about examining what NOAA does before you decide to send the entire branch of the government that protects the United States from weather and does so much more than talk about climate change. Before you start sending NOAA to the gallows, take a look at what they do. Really take a look at everything they do, and then judge whether or not you're getting your money's worth and whether the trumped up vision of fraud and waste that is being shoveled to the public is accurate and worthwhile and, in fact, true. And I'll guarantee you that it's going to give you something to think about, because what they're saying out there about the fraud and the waste, I haven't seen proof of that, and this is just one more good example about why NOAA needs to be let alone to do its job efficiently and very well. This is something that, again, tearing apart NOAA is a very terrible idea. So, again, something for you to take a look at, and, again, to reduce your anxiety level, great opportunity to do so. So please think about that. If you'd like to become a Skywarn spotter from the same National Weather Service office, you can find out more about their online Skywarn training. There are in-person meetings you can go to, but there are opportunities for you to take a look and see what you can do to help out your community during times of severe weather. Also, another good example of what NOAA does. And if you'd like to take the Skywarn spotter course online, you can then pass the course. You can then register with your local National Weather Service office as a Skywarn spotter, and your information could help save a life in the semi-near future. So please think about becoming a Skywarn spotter. This is something that I recommend to parents of kids who are having trouble with severe weather. If you know more about what is going on, again, why a certain project wants to demolish that knowledge and make people less safe, I will never know. But if you'd like to get your kids involved and maybe give them a little bit of a handle on the situation that says, here's what you can do during severe weather. Matter of fact, you can do more than just get a handle on it. You can help spread the word about severe weather and keep people safe when severe weather is a threat. And Skywarn helps you do that. One more way of what NOAA does to help keep us all safe. So please, again, think about doing that and examining what is available to you when it comes to some very good opportunities out there to talk more about what's going on with NOAA and what they do for a living to help you and me stay safe. Thanks to News 12 viewer Kelly Hickson from Chattanooga for a view of Nellie the pupper enjoying a nice day in Coolidge Park. Tomorrow morning it will be brisk, but it won't be as chilly as this morning was back in the 50s, and no sign of any rainfall tomorrow. Just cloud cover out there, so it should be looking pretty good. Businesses, if you would like to be a sponsor of some of our pages that don't have sponsors already or business logos available, check out our website and our sales staff at wdef.com/advertise. We'd love to have you as a sponsor, but if you don't know how to get there, it's kind of hard to say. So if you'd like to take a look and see what the price rates are and advertising negotiations and stuff like that, please go to our website and contact our sales staff for more. Again, that's at wdef.com/advertise. All right, I think that's going to do it. We've been on for better part of half an hour for tonight, so hopefully everybody's got their fill of weather for this evening. So we'll go ahead and close it down for tonight. So for the time being, again, we're looking at the quiet weather, but into the next several days, we may be seeing the potential of more problems heading our direction. So that, again, could be a problem for our area as we get into Wednesday and Thursday. So stay tuned for more with News 12. We'll keep you advised as to everything that is going on out there. Don't forget, again, you can see a replay of this available at our website, wdef.com/weather. We're also on Twitch. We're also on YouTube. And you can also get to Weather Overtime by going to our weather app. If you have not done that yet, give it a try. Download the weather app today, and you'll be able to find out more about what's going on in the Mid-South and keep up to date with our forecast and so much other stuff on there. Download the weather app. Just search WDEF Weather on your particular app store for whatever system you have, and you should be able to get that downloaded as soon as possible. Don't forget, again, our website at wdef.com/weather if you'd like to know more. Chip Chapman will have your forecast coming up bright and early on News 12 this morning. That starts at 5 a.m. Eastern for Wednesday. And, of course, I'll have more tomorrow night of the possibility of severe weather. Stay tuned for a lot more with News 12 on air and online. That'll do it for Tuesday night. I'm Chief Meteorologist Austin Onek, live and direct, at least for those of you who are watching immediately, and taped or recorded. Really showing my age there. Again, that's your opportunity to see more at our website, and we'll have more again coming up on Wednesday. Thanks for joining us, and we'll have more for you tonight on News 12 at 11 and on the morning show with Chip. Stay tuned. A lot more with News 12, again, on air and on